Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Gotlegs. Today I'm in my kitchen and I'm going to talk about this. You see, this is my inhaler. I have exercise-induced asthma, so when I'm out riding, when I have to push myself hard, I take one of these, and it's basically just your basic asthma inhaler for those people that actually have asthma. This has become the subject of interest this week because Chris Froome has tested positive for an exaggerated use of salbutamol. I'm not really sure if this is the same product or the same ingredient, but it's an asthma inhaler. It helps me with my asthma. I have this because I actually have asthma. I've been tested that I do have asthma. It's something that I've had since my early 20s when I started riding, and I also noticed it when I was out riding because after a ride one day I had really had trouble breathing, and I talked to my doctor afterwards, and he told me there's actually a relationship between having asthma and also having allergies towards grass and birch and all that. So my asthma is worse during the summer because my allergies also affects it, but I actually have it year round. So every time I have to push myself really hard, I take one of these, and basically it opens up my lungs and making me able to ride as I'm supposed to. It makes me 100% instead of 80%. So that's the difference between me and somebody who abuses this because they're already 100% and they add on to that. I'm below 100% and I add up to my 100%. And I'm probably not even close to 100% when it all comes to all. I wish I wouldn't have to take this because basically it's not very good for you, but it's the only thing that actually can make me function well when I'm on the bike. I have tried riding without it, and it's a real struggle. It actually is. You can compare it to riding your normal threshold, but your ability to push harder just isn't there. You can ride at that level, and then you just don't have that freedom above that. So I need this. Whether or not Chris Froome needs it, I'm not really sure. I'm certain that he has a TUE to take it, and he probably has asthma. It wouldn't surprise me because a lot of cyclists and endurance athletes actually develop asthma throughout their careers. But the thing is that he had the double amount of what is legal in his system, and that's where things are getting a bit blurred for me, at least, because it's Team Sky. They pretty much know what they're doing, and my asthma is probably a bit different because I just need to take a puff of this before I go out riding, and then I won't feel my asthma, whereas I've seen clips of him doing it throughout the ride, and I've seen and in this case it looks or it seems that he has taken more than just one puff to open up his airway. So maybe he has a more severe type of asthma or a severe level of asthma than I do, but it just seems weird that he has to take 2 or 3 puffs to get the same result. The first time I was surprised to see Chris Froome using an inhaler was back in, was it 14 or 15, when he rode the Dauphiné, where he all of a sudden just takes out an inhaler out of his pocket and just drags or puffs or whatever you want to call it. And I've never seen that ever before. I've never done it myself. I was actually told by an asthma or a specialist that one of the best things that I could do was to actually take a puff before riding, and then before the final take it out once again and take another puff. But I just feels that sends kind of the wrong message to actually be out riding with equal-minded and then having or taking out a piece of medicine and then using that. So I feel that I have a level playing field with one puff normally, and I can use that puff for at least 3 hours, because most of my races are limited to about 2 or 3 hours. So I have no problems with that. Even when I rode the La Mamad, that was probably an 8-hour day in total if you take in the stops and all that. And even I took my inhaler before I rode from the hotel, meaning that I had probably an hour before the race even started, and that worked pretty good for me. Not saying that it will for other athletes or anything like that, but it worked for me. A part of me really wants to see Chris Froome get a punishment, because he just seems too relaxed about it. It kind of reminds me of when Lance Armstrong tested positive for cortisone, and well, it'll pass. We have other ways. It kind of reminds me of that. Not saying anything is as they were on US Postal or anything about that, but Chris Froome just seems too relaxed about this. He has a positive doping test. Both the A and B samples have tested positive, and he's reacting like it's no big deal, that he'll be cleared whatever happens. Whereas you've seen other people that have been pressed with charges of doping or having positive doping results that have really been angry with the results if they've felt that they've not tested positive, or really sorry if they have. So being careless is a weird sign, at least. Another reason why I really want to see Team Sky get punished for this is because they have broken the rules, basically. Not the UCI governing rules or the WADA rules, but their own rules. But when they started out as a team, they had the intention of not letting sick riders ride. So if you had to get a TUE, you weren't allowed to race for Team Sky. They would rather pull you from the race than let you compete. We all know that that hasn't happened because of recent events where Wiggins was charged with having used TUEs. And there's nothing wrong with using a TUE. What's wrong is that you go out and say that we're not going to use that part of the system. That would be cheating. It would be cheating to actually dope our riders so they can complete a race. That would be cheating. So instead, we'd rather pull them and then go out and actually allow them to dope to compete in the races. That's just wrong in my sense, at least. So what's interesting here is whether or not he'll get punished, and also how big of a punishment he'll get. Will he get like a 2-month ban for using or having above the legal threshold, or will he get like a 24-month ban, a 2-year ban for using doping? I don't really know. I'd love to see the latter part, basically because as if Contador got 2 years, I can't really see the difference here. I really can't. If you're above the legal limit, you're above the legal limit, whether or not you have excuses of why you are that. So that's my little rant about Chris Froome, Team Sky, the whole doping thing or asthma thing. We'll see how that one pans out. Anyways, I'm about to jump on the trainer now and do some exercise. Today's menu is 3 times 12 minutes of sweet spot with 10 minutes recovery in between. Actually, I did that a couple of days ago, and I actually set a Swift to control the resistance for me, and I really didn't like that. It didn't feel real. It felt like using an old trainer where you're pedaling in sand. So I might just go by feel instead, and using my power meter to actually guide me in the correct zones, because having set Swift to give me constant 250 watts didn't really work. And also every time I had to just make some micro pauses, it basically made getting up to speed once again really pain, because it just wants you to force 250 watts from 0 cadence. So that didn't work. So I'm gonna do something different today. But thanks again for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the other videos, and until next time, bye.